Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Nerds at the Round Table, a weekly talk show where we react to and discuss the nerdy news. My name is Fred Sullivan, and with me, as always, for our 69th episode, 69.
Nothing special about the number 69. There's nothing...
Jack Rooney.
What's going on?
69!
Is like any other number in all of numbers.
Let's get it on.
That's a weird random song to be singing for no reason.
There's all the reason to sing it, Jack.
All right.
Because we got fantastic things to talk about.
Yeah.
But first, what are you playing?
So I did it. I bought the Skyrim Special Edition.
Oh, boy.
And it wasn't a mistake, but it's
not the best purchase.
ultimately. Well, the thing is, I paid $60 for Skyrim again. You know, and it doesn't.
It kind of sucks.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel much different. I thought it would feel very refreshing to go back to it, and to some degree it does. But like, it's not like it's a game that I played and replayed so many times that going back to replay it again doesn't actually feel as new or different as I thought it might be. And you know, the visual improvements are nice. They're fine. It feels more like the game that I kind of remember. Like, I feel like it's like, oh yeah, this is how I remember this game, you know? And it's not like, it's a little bit that effect of like, you know, games when you were a kid that you kind of like, you think of them as looking better than they actually do.
Yeah, they're much more vivid and better looking, everything.
But this game was only like 5 years ago. So like in my head, it basically looks the same as it does now. You know, it's very similar or the same textures. So like, ultimately, like the grass is still flat. But what about those
godlike rays, right? Is that what they're called?
Rays,
rays, godlike rays.
I mean, they're fine. No, it's god rays. Yeah, it's like they're fine. You know, and
they're godlike.
The most exciting part is probably like the modding capabilities, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm playing the game and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll try out some of these mods. And then I go into the mod menu and it's like, you know, activating these mods will disable trophies. And I was like, oh, of course.
That sucks, but
I was like,
sense.
Obviously, yeah, because you could just have a mod that basically just gives you the platinum. Like you could, you know,
gives you invulnerability, and you could just do whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, yeah, that makes total sense. It also ruins modding for me because I kind of want trophies, but I also kind of want to mod the game. So I'm like stuck between these two like ways of playing the game, and like ultimately, I think I'm going to play the game and then play it again with mods. But then, do I really have time for that?
I don't know. I mean, it depends. It's what you're looking forward to the rest of this year, or if there's any games that have already come out that you're looking to pick up.
I mean, like we're probably going to talk about Dishonored at some point and Eve at some point. You know, those are some of the topics we have on the docket, and like maybe both of those, maybe both. I don't know yet.
Why not all of them?
Yeah. So it's kind of like I don't want to. I didn't make a misstep. It's just like
You're disappointed by the $60 purchase of a game that you're already familiar with.
I already know very well. I thought it would feel more special than it was.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what you expect. It also could be kind of playing into the fact that maybe open world RPGs are getting a little samey.
They're not as special as they might have been in 2011.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
So that's something.
What about you?
I've been playing. Well, what games I have been playing? I haven't been playing much due to my trips, but I finally got into Xenoverse a little bit. Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2.
How's that?
So let me start out with this, right? So I'm going to start out by saying
you always know it's going to be a great game when someone says, "Well, hold on, let me."
Start off with this, right? I enjoy the game.
Okay, cool.
Because I know what to expect.
Okay,
it's just almost the exact same as the first one. Same combat mechanics,
which to me didn't feel great.
They were fine. I mean, it's, you know, as far as Dragon Ball Z games have been in the past, it's not the best. You know, I'll say that. Tenkaichi, like, or however you want to say it, I say Tenkaichi. That game, the first 1 through 3 were probably the best of the Dragon Ball Z games that you could possibly have gotten. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, they're doing the PlayStation 2 era. So you really can't go back to them, right?
Yeah, hard to go back and enjoy this.
Yeah, I mean, given Tenkaichi 2 and 3 or just 3 were for the Wii also, but nobody wants to own that console either. Sure. At least not me. So I was in LA last weekend, and I let Dave play it. And I told him beforehand, I was like, "You're not going to like this. You're not going to like this." And he's like, I'll just try it. And I was like,
sure,
all right, whatever, go ahead. It's upstairs in my room.
I mean, I gotta say, that's fairly open-minded for Dave. I feel like he's trying a little bit harder yeah. And
the point that he made was, I was trying so hard to prove you wrong. That's the definition of the game for him, essentially, is what I'm thinking of. The game is very... If you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, like a super fan, you kind of fight through it just because of what it is.
Because you want to like the Dragon Ball Z stuff in it.
I mean, the thing is, right, is that anybody that's been a Dragon Ball Z fan in the past and has played video games has, been wanted to make their own character.
Sure.
They allow you to do that in a limited fashion. Ugh. Oh boy.
Oh dear.
There's only so much they could have changed is the thing, right? And I was hoping, so much to conclude. I was hoping that they would change more from the first one. Hoping that maybe it was a little bit more successful than they originally thought, and maybe they got a little bit more into it. But it is almost exactly the same from what I played.
Here's the thing that I don't really get. Like, I don't know how successful the first game was. I don't know either. Okay. But like, for them to make a sequel, I was thinking, okay, they're either gonna try and improve on what went wrong with the first one, or like it's gonna be drastically different, or the first one was way bigger in some circles than I thought, and they're gonna make the exact same game.
I mean,
and it seems like they made a very, very similar title.
I haven't played online yet, so I'll make that point clear. They are very heavily online influenced in this one. I mean, it was in the last as well, but I feel like that's, I guess, where they got most of their feedback was based on the online play rather than single player. And single player to me, just like I said, it kind of just feels the same. It's the same stuff you're doing, maybe a little bit more streamlined, but overall the same type of feel. When I go online, maybe I'll see if there's something different, but the last time I played online was literally everyone playing as the strongest characters in the game and just using your ults.
That's a good time,
over and over.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's what everyone wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, like, I want to go in with, like, this character, and then they're like, oh, well, that guy's playing as Beerus and Whis. Like, at that point, the strongest characters in the game. Now they have the characters that are in the current saga for Dragon Ball Super.
Even stronger.
Yeah. Even more ridiculous. Because you haven't watched any of it yet.
But I know of the characters.
Yeah. The new character that has just come up is there's a new one, and you're like, you thought it was over, and here's more. Not that I'm mad about it by any stretch, but I thought that it was about to come to the end of the season, and it didn't.
Okay.
So yeah, overall, Xenoverse is fine. Like, if you're a Dragon Ball fan and you've played Xenoverse previously and you enjoyed it, you'll probably enjoy this one. If you were not a fan of Xenoverse, it's going to be more of the same. So
yeah, I mean, it's kind of a shame, but at least you're still enjoying the show, right?
Dragon Ball Super? Yeah, of course.
Okay, well, that's good.
So let me tell you about this little story back in when I was in Los Angeles.
Okay.
I met someone who was just as much of a nerd about Dragon Ball as I was.
Well.
If not more so.
Okay.
Her name was Ruth Ann.
Okay.
I respect the shit out of that woman. We nerded out about Dragon Ball for about an hour and a half to 2 hours straight at a bar, nonetheless, right?
Ooh, Fred at a bar.
Yeah. Well, it was basically what I'm getting at is that it was a really loud atmosphere at one point, and we were still just
you guys are just screaming at each other about.
It was
Dragon
four
Ball?
of us, really. It was also Danny Shepard from Ismahawk, as well as Martin Wong, who's a photographer.
Cool.
We were sitting there to the point where people like came up to the table to like come say hi to us, and they were like, "Oh, well, this is not going anywhere," and they walked away. They stuck around in the place itself, but they like walked out of that conversation like, "Well, this is not ending anytime soon." And we talked about Dragon Ball Super, like Dragon Ball Z. It was fantastic. I haven't had that much of a nerd off in like I can't even remember. Yeah, it was refreshing. Certainly refreshing.
Well, what other shows have you been watching?
The usual stuff, you know. I'm caught up on Arrow at this very moment, Flash at this very moment. I missed the last week's episode of Supergirl. There's more shows that I've been meaning to catch up on. I've just been having a lot of trips and I haven't been able to watch.
Right.
So I'm like behind on Walking Dead. There's a show that I was like, man, I keep forgetting to watch it and I can't remember what the show was. Ash vs. the Evil Dead.
Oh.
I'm like 6 episodes behind.
You know what show that you keep forgetting to watch?
Westworld.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you have
that show is just so amazing. Like from the very first second where the theme music starts playing until the end of like to the roll credits, like it is just an incredible show the entire time. I don't know how long, like how many seasons they intend to run for, but like this like could easily beat out Game of Thrones for one of my favorite TV experiences of all time.
Wow.
Easily.
Easily.
Well, no, because I love Game of Thrones, right? But this is just so much more up my alley. Like we've talked about this before. I really love fantasy, but I really love sci-fi. Like sci-fi is like
I love sci-fi as well.
Sci-fi is my fucking jam.
My jam.
Yeah. And that's why the universe of Star Wars is so powerful, because it's like a little bit column A, a little bit column B. You know, you get that cool sci-fi stuff, but you also get like knights and what are essentially wizards and like
you're a wizard.
Yeah.
With lightning.
I mean, that's basically what I mean. They make references to that. When we were playing the Old Republic, like the Sith are called like sorcerers, basically.
Yeah, well, there are a class of them called sorcerers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're not like, that's what it is.
It's a sorcerer and sage is the other counterpart. So it's essentially wizards.
Good wizard, bad wizard. And it's like, man, like I can't think of a universe I enjoy more maybe than Star Wars, but I really like Westworld a lot. Like I think it's a very cool universe, and it's a very cool like setup for some incredible narratives. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was interested. It was just a matter of like I was expecting to watch it with people, and then everybody's kind of watching.
Oh, everyone just broke off.
Yeah,
we all watched that first episode together, and then everyone was like, poof.
Yeah, I was like, oh, cool, all right. And like to the point last night where I asked Dave, I was like, oh, are you watching Arrow by chance? Because I'm trying to watch it live, and he's like, nope, Westworld. I was like, solid, all right. So
man, those CW shows have like fallen off a cliff for me. Like I was watching them all the time, and then
it's. I'll tell you, Arrow it's something, like there is a new, like, overwhelming, like,
it felt like that show, like, started the trend, though.
It did.
Like, did that come out? That came out before Daredevil.
That came out,
right?
Yeah, because they're on season 5. And
I think so, and I'm sure Daredevil was already in the works.
But
well, Daredevil's also on a slower pace, I think, than.
Yeah, it comes out slower, but I think that Arrow definitely came out before.
I think so. But I think like the idea of like chasing down a kind of darker, more what felt like a more real superhero thing, almost originated with Arrow, and then like we saw all these other universes and all the Marvel shows crop up on Netflix, and like that was all very cool. But like those have totally absorbed any interest I had in Arrow in particular, because Arrow was very cool and dark, and then it went totally camp. Like it just.
Well, so this season they're trying to return to that a little bit, but the problem is that it's almost like it's already done. You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to get back recapture that the magic that you had with especially the second season. I'm sorry.
Sure.
The second season was such a unique piece of television because it was comic books brought to TV in one of the ways that we wanted for so long, that it kind of is just disappointing now. I mean, they do have a cool villain this year that like are who knows how long they're gonna last, but the overlooming villain right now seems to be pretty sick.
Awesome.
And like they're introducing another like here's the team type thing.
I feel like I'll be able to get back into it. Maybe once the season's over, I'll just binge watch it all and just like kind of do it all at once. Because like the TV grind of it is I think what is turning me off of it. Like when you drop a whole season of like Netflix shows all at once, or when it's like or when you get something like Westworld where it's like one really intense show a week. You know what I mean? Like every episode matters. And then
that's the benefit that you have with the large budget and a shorter amount of seasons, or a short amount of episodes. But
like coming back to a show every week for 45 minutes of 50% filler, if it's a good episode, and more often than not, like much more, like even if a story does seem relevant, it ends up being like, well, they don't want to alienate the people that miss it, so it's not really super substantial for the overarching plot. Like it's all.
Here's the recipe for every CW show. A sprinkle of a story that goes over the season.
Yeah.
A sprinkle of character development. A sprinkle of lesson learned.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like little things that, here's these characters are better friends now. Like these are what's going on with their lives.
Just a little bit. It's like 2%.
And and then whatever, I guess the flower is just filler.
Yeah, whatever.
Filler. And it's that's that's what it is for every show. I mean, the only one that is a little bit better this year for it is Supergirl.
Yeah.
Just because like they've introduced some awesome characters, and the thing is I'm hoping that a certain show comes out of this new, like all the new show, like this whole year of shows, because it's going the Young Justice route.
Ooh.
They're bringing in
cool. certain
characters that would show that. It's just a matter of introducing just a few more, but we have like 2 or 3 of them right now.
Oh, cool.
So it's pretty sick. But I hope so, but who the hell knows?
Yeah.
But anyway, we should probably get into the stories because we've
done our
about
15,
20 minutes.
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes of bullshit.
Thank you for sticking around if you have. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, like the video down below, and leave a comment.
For more minutes of bullshit. Well, our first story this week has a lot to do with VR, which is apparently still going strong, according to Sony.
Good.
So
I mean, it's better that it is because that is going to be a whole different kind of gaming.
Yeah, they're gonna have to make that work with every single title. They're gonna have to like really push it out there to make it like mainstream. So, but anyway, Xbox's Phil Spencer says that VR will come to Project Scorpio when it doesn't feel like quote demos and experiments, unquote. He's looking for the VR version of Kinect's Dance Central. So, like, the reason to have VR on Xbox, I guess, Xbox, is the translation of that weird comparison. But yeah.
Well, I mean, Dance Central was like actually a pretty big hit for the Kinect when it first came out.
It was like the reason that people would want to
Kinect. Yeah. And I mean, as we were talking about this a little bit beforehand, it kind of seems like you were discussing the fact that this almost seems like a jab at PlayStation.
I mean, like in a very like light way, but not in like. So I think he's saying that like most VR feels like demos and he says it directly, like demos and experiments, right? But like if your competitor is doing that and they're like that's a big pillar of their business now, it feels like a weird thing to just kind of like shoot out there, be like, oh yeah, that VR stuff that's going on, it's all demos and experience, because there are real companies, some of whom you work with, that like are working on things for that VR thing, for that like demo experiment toy machine.
Yeah,
so
I mean it is people that are working on them. Yeah, developers.
It seems weirdly dismissive for someone who's been very like kind of progressive and like cool absolutely. About but like the thing is he does add in that they're building in compatibility into Scorpio, so they're like ready for it as soon as it's ready by their standards.
Okay, I mean it makes sense. You don't want to like completely dismiss it, right? You want to be, if it is going to be immensely popular, you're like, well, everyone has done their thing, but this is Xbox's VR system.
This could be, and it'll probably be a partnership with, I mean, presumably Oculus, but maybe Vive or something.
It's probably, I mean...
Do you think they're going to go whole hog and, like, develop their own VR headset? Because it doesn't sound like it's in the works, and it doesn't sound... It's a lot of money and a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're still doing R&D on it, I don't know. I mean... One would assume that they could probably partner up with Oculus is probably the cheapest of the two.
Yeah, I mean, especially because I think Oculus isn't doing that well right now.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Vive has carved its own kind of niche, but
yeah, I mean, Vive, you know what you're getting into. Yeah. It's a lot of money to get into it, but it is the best VR experience we have right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is that Microsoft for a long time was like trying to develop not a VR type of thing, but they have HoloLens. Yeah. They have.
Which you haven't heard much about recently, or at least I haven't.
Well, they show it at every E3. It's like, oh, here's Minecraft. You can go inside of it. You are inside Minecraft.
But there's no, and they've been showing that for 2 years now.
I think more than that, dude. I think it's been in the works for over 5 years.
But like no discussion of when it is
actually
really coming out. Yeah.
I don't think so.
By the way, for anyone who sees me yawning on the video, Fred is very interesting. But the problem is it's Thursday, so that means I woke up at 3:30 in the morning.
I'm not very interesting, but I try to be.
No, but like I don't want to. Like as soon as you start talking, I'm like. So it just I feel like it looks.
If you see me yawning, it's because I'm cold. Because it's kind of
it's a little chilly down.
It's a little chilly down.
It's refreshing for me because like we recorded for several months where like we would just be sweating our butts off down here.
It wasn't that hot.
We recorded for several months where I would be sweating my butt off down here.
We're under the ground.
And the lights and all the lights.
These don't give off a lot of heat.
And all the lights and the warm.
All of the lights, all of the lights. Sorry, everyone.
I showed you that Vine, right?
Probably not.
I retweeted it at some point if anyone's wondering what I'm talking about. It's just Donald Trump like put over that song saying no, turn those lights off. It's just really, whatever. But anyway, yeah, no, I think that's an interesting tidbit. It kind of shows you where Xbox is at in terms of like their plans for that.
Yeah, like I said, I think if anything, they'd probably introduce HoloLens as their VR kind of experience. I'm sure they could probably.
But it's not like a strictly VR experience.
It is not. But I'm assuming that there would be something that they can incorporate to make it like, oh, this is more appealing.
Maybe.
Than it, because you don't have to have this gigantic headset on. You can't see anything.
Yeah.
Like, this is just what it looks like in front of you. It's a projection.
But can you play the games that people are already making for VR on HoloLens?
That's a great question. Yeah. I don't know what
I guess we'll have to wait
works.
And see. Yeah.
I don't work for Microsoft. If you guys didn't know. I do not work for Microsoft.
If you want to get us a demo, we'd be happy to try.
That'd be dope.
But anyway, yeah, we'll be keeping tabs on that, I'm sure, as they make more announcements. But EVE Online has a release date for its free-to-play, for its new free-to-play model.
Unfortunately for you, that game probably won't run on your Mac.
No.
Did you not think about that?
No, I didn't at all.
I was like, if Civilization 6 can't run on your shit.
EVE's old though.
EVE's
old. Like old. It's relatively old.
It's old.
Yeah.
But you're also running on a Mac and not a PC. So old by PC standards is newer by Mac.
We'll have to see.
Your Mac might just
commit
seppuku.
Yeah. But that doesn't change the fact that I'm very interested in what happens to this game once it goes free to play.
Absolutely.
Because it was already a crazy experiment beforehand, and now it's even crazier because you're just adding more and more variables in the forms of new players.
People are just camping spawns.
God, I just wonder what's gonna happen. Yeah, it's gonna be a mess out there.
Look at these noobs.
It's gonna be bad out there. Do you wonder? I wonder if there are gonna be some people, who are just like, no, this is our game. We made this.
What's up, boy? Have you ever been to EVE?
I was watching the trailer, and there's some of these really cool ships that are just like flying through space in formation, getting in space battles and things like that. And I remember when I first played that game, it's not like that. Like I didn't get to be in one of those ships. I had a bad ship.
Well, there's gonna be like two kinds of people. It's gonna be the people that are like, fuck these guys that came into this game. They haven't been here since the beginning. Fuck them because it's free. Suck my. Yeah. Or there's going to be some other guy that's going to be like, look at mine. Yeah. Look at my long ship. Look at all my accessories.
I mean,
you'll be here after you spend $76,000 on this game.
I was going to say, like, what could be really interesting is what this, presumably an influx of cash, will do to the game. Because this is a game that sometimes has very real consequences for real world money.
Yeah.
Like there was, I'll never forget that space battle. I've already forgotten the specific number, but I won't forget the space battle.
I won't forget the battle, but I can't remember the numbers.
That had like $200,000 of like real loss, like real monetary loss. That's just
unbelievable.
Gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of money that people had spent in the game that disappeared.
My turbo thruster is gone. That's $100,000.
Yeah, it's like there was one guy who lost his ship.
I have to declare bankruptcy.
Yeah, no, but I mean, really, I think it was a battle among like thousands and thousands of people who had all spent maybe like $10 or like $20 in the game or something like that.
And then
I mean, these people were, I think, part of like large corporations or guilds in the game, so they were probably more
brokers.
Committed. Yeah,
the fucking. You want to get a ship, son?
Oh, jeez.
Give me $200, I'll give you a ship.
Oh my god.
Oh god, here you go. Here's a rinky-dink ship. One that you get in the beginning of the game. But I made this out of cardboard, motherfucker.
It's not even airtight. My character is dead like right away. This is garbage.
That's what you get for $200, boy. like imagine somebody actually invests like $200,000 into that game, right?
That would be the end of my gaming.
Yeah,
if I lost any real money in it.
So there's got to be people in this game that are like, all right, well, I'm going to invest this much and then I'll make this money back in however much time because people will need to buy things and I'll have the ability to buy, like, supply this.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So, like, if somebody that's obviously got to be hardcore into that game of some sort and, like, has the ability to do, like, certain runs where you can't get stuff unless you have a high-ranking ship or whatever, right? you sell it at a certain price, you get the money back. So like he spends that much money on a ship. Given, let it be said, if you haven't noticed, I don't know anything about EVE Online. I'm interested in it.
I feel like you're kind of on the money. I'm also pretty sure that is messed up. Yeah.
It could be. Well, sorry about the audio this week.
Oh, we're on the backup. The backup always sounds good.
Yeah, but there's noises happening in the background between what's going on back there and
That's not going to be super clean.
Well, again, we apologize.
Yeah. But anyway, so we don't know a lot about EVE, but maybe within the next 2 weeks, I'll have some information for you.
If your Mac doesn't kill itself.
Yeah. But are there any games that coming up in the next couple months that you're interested in? I mean, it's pretty much Skyrim and EVE for me.
Well, so there was multiple games that I was going to pick up, but I'm holding off now in the attempt to save money.
Always money.
Yeah. Titanfall is one that I'm still interested in and I still want to play.
Mm-hmm.
Battlefield I've heard nothing but good things about, and I want to play it, but I don't want to spend $60 on it to test my theory of if I like it or not, because I've had a lot of problems with Battlefield games in the past, mainly 3 and 4, that the maps are just too big, it takes too long to get to a certain area, you get there, you die, you have to do it all over again. That's just... And the games take like 40 minutes to play. It's just, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
They are kind of long, aren't they?
Yeah, and the other one was going to be the Modern Warfare. The Infinite Warfare that has Modern Warfare 4 on it. But whatever.
I mean, so I was reading this article, and it's actually our next thing. Dishonored 2 brings morals to murder by giving backstory to every guard. That's kind of cool, right? And
I mean, that's interesting.
Stories like this makes me more interested in playing Dishonored, because I'm like, I wasn't something that I had been considering before, and so now I'm wondering, like, maybe this is something that's worth picking up, but it does also bring into the question, like, when will I have a review for it? Because this is a Bethesda published game.
Takes forever. Like, that's, as I've said in the past, I've had a problem with Bethesda games because they're too long. Well,
it's also like, it's going to be a long, like, semi-open world game that they're only going to send to press the day before.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's going to take a long time for you to get a review, and like this is exactly the type of game that I'm like, maybe yes, maybe no, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you're just going to, like, if you're questionable about it, honestly, you should just wait.
Yeah.
See what people say about the game. I mean, by all intents and purposes, it looks fantastic.
It looks really cool. And again, like, this idea, like, every guard in the game has a backstory. Like, you have to feel bad about killing, like, the son of someone or the father of someone else, or like
this character's son has cancer.
But it also...
Are you going to be okay with killing him?
Yeah. You monster. Are you going to be okay with that? You monster. The game just, like, abuses you the whole time. I don't know how to take this. You just give yourself up for a game over. You're like, this is it. I can't play this game anymore. No, but I don't know. It's and maybe this is a good jumping off point for our next topic, where, like, you know, different press people are starting to respond back to Bethesda's new policy, and obviously the general consensus is, hey, this is a bad thing for us because it's a bad thing for gamers. And I was kind of just wondering, I guess, like, what are your opinions on that? Like, how does that strike you?
So the thing is, right, is that no one should feel entitled to get games, right? Like,
no, of course not.
It's not a game reviewer's right to get a game by any stretch, and it's Bethesda's right to do this by any stretch. You know?
Absolutely. And I think, I mean, from what I've read in most of the responses, like, most game journalists are agreeing with that sentiment. Like, they're like, this isn't for us, this is for the people that we service, our audience.
Exactly. Like, and that's where I was kind of getting to, is that, like, no one deserves to, like, get the game early to review it, right? But at the same time, I don't know if it's going to hurt Bethesda in the long run, because what most people do is buy that game day one, and just seeing that review beforehand is a little reassuring.
Yeah.
So, like, oh, well, this guy thinks it's an 8 or it's a 9, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be a little bit easier for me. Maybe I'll like it too. But now you don't have any of that, and it's just going to be going in kind of blind and just kind of seeing how it goes. But the biggest thing we can say is honestly just wait. Like, there's no reason to pick games up day one. It's like, and this is also a conversation we're having about how people are demanding refunds and everything like that for these games that are coming
out.
out.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about that.
Yeah, with No Man's Sky, and then there's also something else that we might be talking about in a little bit with Battlefield. And it's, you don't need to buy these games day one. I do it, and I understand what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
And not know, like, even if I see a review that's like Dragon Ball Xenoverse, for example, 7.7.
Did it really score that high?
Yeah.
Good for you, Dragon
Ball
Xenoverse.
It's a good game, right?
Okay, yeah.
But like, if someone like Dave were to do that, he would give it like a 4 or something.
Yeah,
like that,
but like that is someone, Dave does love Dragon Ball. Like there are people who love Dragon Ball who would hate Dragon Ball Xenoverse and might find themselves like in a place where they really need a review, where they really need to see that, and if they don't have it, then they, I get wait and see, right? I've done it with multiple games before where I'm just like, okay, I have to see what the review is.
Except for No Man's Sky.
Except for No Man's Sky, because I really believed that was going to be a good game.
Yeah.
And like even seeing the review in progress where it was kind of mixed, like I did look at reviews in progress before I purchased the game, and I decided, no, I think I'm like, I see what they're saying. There are concerns, but like I think I want to try this.
I think, sorry, I got the people mixed up. It was Dave that did it. He's like, I can't wait anymore. Just bought it for $60.
Oh, No Man's Sky?
Yeah.
Oh.
And hated and regretted the decision.
Yeah, he really did.
But he took it like a man.
But the thing is, like, he saw me play the game.
He did.
Like, he played it on my console before. Anyway,
and then he realized,
he realized long afterwards that he didn't like it. But no.
My God.
Yeah. But I guess that's still, like, pertinent to the conversation, like, people who regret purchasing a game and then want their refund, right? But like really, I guess the question has to be about who does this hurt? Like Bethesda seems to be like, it's almost all good for Bethesda, because if you think about it, the person who was going to buy the game day one is still going to buy it.
Still going to buy it, yeah.
The person who's going to wait for a review, if it's still a good game, they'll probably buy it anyway. And if it's like a bad review, then like them having that bad review out there early would have just hurt them anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing but good for them. It's what it's bad for is the fan, the person that is, a little hesitant to actually buy the game day one, and probably reviewers. I mean, it doesn't help them. Hopefully it just doesn't create a trend. So
the piece that I had read that was particularly interesting to me was Dan Stapleton from IGN. And he brought up a couple of good points. He's like, reviews are not our primary driver of business. Like, we don't need to review every game that comes out. In fact, they review some games that are like a net loss for them because they want to provide a service or rise up like a small title to show the audience and be like, this is a good thing for you, even though there aren't going to be a lot of people going to click on that review.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
And like, as far as getting a game for free, like, that's not an issue either. They could easily go out to a GameStop just like anyone else and buy a $60 game.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
It's not like they're like expecting of it to get a free game.
Exactly. Just... So really what it is like, is that review there day one for the consumer? And like it benefit, even though it's not their primary business driver, like it does benefit review sites to have that game
because it's extra traffic,
yeah,
ad revenue, the whole nine. But,
yeah.
I mean, I guess more than anything, it does hurt the fan or the consumer more than anybody.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like this is a weird move, because when you really break it down all the way to like, well, it's not awful for the reviewers, it's only good for the company, and it's like, yeah, the company should absolutely make that choice, right? It makes a lot of sense, but then is there still value in it if it kind of hurts the people you're catering to? And that's something where it's like, if the people that you're catering to, if the people that you're trying to sell your product to don't realize it, then like that's fine, I guess. But like, if you really think about it, I feel like you eventually come to the conclusion like, oh, this is just kind of not great for me. Yeah. Like, it's harder for me to make an informed decision.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely reassuring when like the day before the game comes out and you're like, oh, well, this game got like an 8.
Yeah.
Like, awesome.
Or like a week before The Last of Us comes out and we see that 10 and we're like,
it builds that
oh my
hype.
God, we were so ready. But that's like a game that gets a 10. If that game had gotten like a 7.5 or like an 8, you'd be like, oh, cool. Like, this is going to be a good game. And then maybe that day comes and maybe you miss it because you're not like super pumped about it. But like, I don't know. It's a really complicated decision.
It really is, because I mean, in all honesty, there's pros and cons for every party.
Yeah,
that's
I guess.
involved. Like we can go into further detail about it, but I don't know if we really need to. I mean, we kind of got the point across where there's pros and cons for every single part of this. It's just a matter of like, just know that this is completely Bethesda's decision. Like, they do it, they can do what they want. It's their product.
Yeah, they don't owe anybody anything. It's just a question of who does it help.
Exactly. That's
and does that have to factor into your decision as a consumer? And for some people, that's going to be yes, and for some people, it's going to be no.
Yeah. The only thing we can suggest is just wait a little bit longer. If you really need that review, just wait a little bit longer.
Yeah. But speaking of giant publishers, EA announced that Star Wars Battlefront is, like, the sequel to Star Wars Battlefront is confirmed for 2017, the end of 2017. Yes. Now, I'm taking that to mean the beginning of 2018 once this game gets pushed. Not because I don't believe EA, but because I believe that every game with an indefinite date gets pushed.
Gets deleted, gets pushed, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that's definitely curious about this is how, like, what they're going to do with this game. How are they going to make it different than the last one? Or is it just going to be more of the same?
They won't. Was the answer to your question.
And now, as a Star Wars fan, let me tell you, I could want so much from this game.
Yeah, you could ask for the world from this game.
But realistic expectations from this is going to be like every Call of Duty, like every Battlefield. It's just a slight minor difference with a different paint.
Yeah.
And that's usually what happens. Now, with this said, I am very optimistic that something will change and something will interest me, but
yeah, I mean, you hope so, right? Because like the real issue is for especially someone like me and presumably someone like you that is interested in multiplayer, but I feel like in that universe you care about single player. Like, you care about a narrative. You care about a story. In that Star universe Wars. In particular.
Tell me a story.
Yeah, it's incredibly important.
Absolutely.
Whereas like in the Battlefield universe, in the Call of Duty universe, you're just like, okay, cool, yeah, it's a multiplayer universe. Like, I don't know, the stories are fine. The stories are usually pretty good. But you're okay, whatever.
It's fine.
But in the Star Wars universe, it is a universe built on strong narrative.
Exactly.
So what we all want, right, is that strong single player or maybe co-op narrative. But is there any reason for them to do that? When I'm pretty sure that game sold very well, if not great, with just what it had.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what they have to look into. I mean, a lot of people said that they wanted a single player narrative. Now, it's
Titanfall did it, right?
Yeah, they did do it.
Yeah.
And they released on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
But who knows? Like,
we'll
that's I mean, I'm hopeful because I'd play that game if it had a single player, or especially if it had co-op. If it had co-op, so good. But only time will tell, unfortunately. Expect a 2018 release.
Yeah, I mean, expect early 2018.
Oh, boy.
The thing is, like, so EA published Titanfall, right?
Yeah, they're the publisher.
And Titanfall, I'm sure it was a studio-led decision to focus on having a real single-player campaign in this game, right? Do you think they will give that same option to, DICE? I guess, DICE, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is DICE.
Because they already have a studio under Amy Hennig, Visceral, I think is the studio, working on a narrative-focused game.
Version of it.
So do you think it's a priority for them at all, even if the studio wants to pursue it, to give players a real single player?
Do they? Or if you're asking if they have to,
do you think they care? Is that a cynical question to ask?
It kind of is, but in all honesty, it's kind of real. Like, that's just the truth.
Do you think they have to care if they have this other studio already doing it?
No, but at the same time, you make your fans happy, and you also, get more people to buy the game because it's a single player now. That's what a lot of people are looking for. I mean, I would play it. That would be something.
Would it be a day one purchase for you?
It depends. I would have to see. Like the Visceral one.
I think so, right? Uncharted's like creative director, basically.
Yeah.
In a Star Wars universe with a studio that I think made Dead Space.
Yeah, I think it's all. I think like all that adds up right
all
there.
All those things sound real good, right?
Yeah. Just that little clip that they gave, I was like, give me more.
Sure.
But I'm very hopeful for that one.
Yeah.
And I will probably buy it day one. And this also, even without a review, I'd probably buy it.
I was going to say, like, that was my next question. No, I mean, the thing is, like, I'm my cynical view is, of course, no, they won't care. They don't have to care. It's not a big deal for them because they'll sell plenty of copies of the game and they have their narrative focused game coming next year, right?
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Is it next year? I feel like it's next year.
Well,
or maybe
it's
the year after
supposed
that.
to be. Oh, you're talking about Viscerals?
Viscerals,
They didn't give a release date.
I don't think they have, but it's been in development for a little while.
It's been, but honestly, I could see it being 2018.
Yeah, probably. I would agree with that.
I could see
So
it
maybe they don't really care about having a single player for this one because they're going to have it like the year after that, right?
Like 6 months after the game releases or whatever.
Sure. But I wonder if, the studio, DICE is making it, right?
Yes.
And DICE did some pretty innovative stuff with storytelling in this most recent iteration of Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
And it seems to be, it's well received from like all critical standpoints.
Yep. It seems to be, at least.
I mean, like, that would be a very cool way to tell Star Wars stories. Like, you focus on one battle or one conflict or like different parts of the war, and you focus on different characters doing interesting things in that. Maybe you have a level as a Jedi, or you have a level as like a scout or a messenger, or
but that's not the only thing, right? Is like, so keep in mind that Viscerals is third person, while Battlefront is first person.
Yeah.
You can tell completely different narratives with that
true.
type of aspect. Like you can tell a single story with just what that soldier is experiencing in a war.
Yeah.
Like maybe he's like the leader of a squadron or whatever it might be.
Yeah, and you're like
right?
kind of seeing it firsthand.
Yeah, like you are experiencing what that character is doing at that point in time.
Yeah.
While the visceral version of it can give you like a group version, or even just a character in that aspect as well, where it's just one. But
exactly. I mean, like, third-person games lend themselves well to characters that you get to know as a player.
Yeah.
Whereas first-person games lend themselves well to characters that you get to inhabit and like see the world through.
Exactly.
So like, you're right. You're absolutely right in that there are different opportunities for storytelling in those two different formats. The question is EA as a publisher going to give a shit? And like, I don't know.
I mean, I hope so. The thing is, though, is it's, from what I'm hearing, is Titanfall 2's storyline is not the best.
I've heard it's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
it's more impressive that they did it.
Actually did it. Yeah. And now hopefully they'll do it. But the thing is do we want like a shoddy kind of Star Wars story?
I don't think DICE would do that, but I think that there is an inherent risk there. Like, I know no one's ever shooting for a shoddy story, but like, yeah.
And plus, at this point, nobody's been announced as being like a writer for them or anything. So, not that I've heard, at least.
Well, speaking of potentially shoddy stories,
oh boy,
Wonder Woman's trailer dropped.
Oh, shut up! Shut up! This movie looks amazing.
It looks fine. I don't know, but the thing is, we have to remember, right, that this movie is coming from the same like group of people that made the last two god awful Superman movies.
Yes and no.
All right, not god awful, but like last two like not great Superman movies.
The fact that it's being run by Jeff Johns now.
Okay.
The boat.
You think that'll be better?
Yeah, it should be better. He knows what these characters are. And
I hope you're right.
There's a lot of news going around about the Flash movie right now as well, where it's probably going to get pushed back because there's been a lot of creative differences.
Yeah, there's some directors leaving and stuff like that.
Yeah, but like, this guy knows what he wants from the series, and I'm hoping that he can steer this correctly. And honestly, from what we saw from this trailer, I'm game. Like, I'm in. You got me. And I really hope that this movie is as good as it looks. Yeah. Like, I'm hoping so hard.
And it seems to mean a lot to a lot of people. I mean, I know there was at least one person who, like, someone asked about it this week, right? It was, I think it was maybe... Zyger?
It was Zyger. Yeah, Zyger asked
if
what do you think about the new Wonder Woman trailer? I'm personally really hyped for this movie.
Yeah, a lot of people are. Yeah. And like I get it. And like, I think that as far as an action movie goes, because it does look like it's going to be heavily action focused.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, it seems like they're trying to do some interesting character development stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever. It seems like it's going to be mostly action focused, as it probably should be. It's a superhero story. The action looks cool, and the way Wonder Woman moves in combat is cool. I didn't really see too much of that in the last movie because I didn't see it, but I didn't see too many of that in the last trailers, is what I was actually trying to say.
Well, she moves very well, and she plays Wonder Woman well. I think,
she seems to like move with power, and the way the angles that they shoot from, and the way they do either the CG or the rope work. I'm not sure what's making her move, but
I think it's CG probably.
Probably. But it looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
right?
it does. And the other thing is that like she as a character as a whole, from what I'm gathering from this trailers, is of a warrior's mentality.
Yeah.
Which is what we want. We don't want these, well, I'm also a princess.
Yeah, you don't want the damsel in distress kind of.
No. And she's the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, well, there's a war going on. I'll go in.
And it seems cool that she's the one, and I'm trying to decide how I feel about it. It seems like she's the one who's trying to protect the guy, the male lead in the
Chris
story.
Pine.
Yeah. But there's also a part of me that's she just gonna be attached to that guy for the whole thing.
They did sprinkle in a bit of romanticism into
it.
And
it's okay, maybe cool if it's done well.
Yeah.
But don't forget who this character is. She has love interest.
She's a strong, independent woman.
She don't need no man. And that's all well and good. And I hope that they focus on that in the story.
Yeah.
But the one I would say it was net positive across the board. I would say I might actually be interested in seeing this movie. But the one downside is that for God knows how many minutes I'm gonna listen.
Dave Ardito writes in asking, "What Jack is Gaming is wrong about not liking the Wonder Woman theme song? Not a question, just a fact."
No. Okay, so here's the problem with that statement. I don't just not like it. I find it so fucking annoying. Because I feel at the end of this very cinematic, very cool trailer, you get this hokey ass
hokey,
just garbage it's theme song that's just it feels out of place after everything that you just watched, after all this this is all set in
you're unbelievable,
dude. That's gonna be super loud.
I don't care, you're unbelievable.
After all this cinematic stuff happening in World War II, I'm gonna go 2. I think it is.
Yes, I want to say it's 2.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I saw what would make it. I
want to say 2. Could be 1.
Anyway, I feel like that should have been made. I should have been paying more attention during that part of the trailer. But anyway,
I think there were 10.
After seeing all these cool shots and all these action superhero things, and then you just get this weird guitar riff that just goes on for way too long and just goes back. It's I'm not going to imitate it because you've all heard it. And then it just goes back to that same thing over and over again. It never improves. It never gets more interesting. It never gets it's awful.
You're the worst.
Yeah, that's fine. And the thing is, okay, I respect that people like it. Good for you. But I hate that theme song. And you can disagree with me, but I'm allowed to hate the shit out of that.
It's your opinion to hate it. But let me tell you that this is one of the most iconic theme songs right now. Name one Marvel fucking
Who cares? At least none of them annoyed me.
Because this one is one that you hear that and you're like, oh, that's a Wonder Woman
theme song. It's in your face though the whole time.
Because she's supposed to be an extremely strong character, and that's what this is portraying.
You don't need to have a strong.
You didn't watch BVS either, did you?
No.
That's hearing that in her entrance made the scene so much fucking better, dude.
Yeah, anything would have made that movie better, dude.
You didn't watch it. The Ultimate Edition was better, but fucking
sorry, it was a low blow.
It was a low blow, but oh god, dude, this, hearing that just pumps me the fuck.
Well,
up.
I'm glad it pumped you up, and I'm sure it. By the sounds of it, it pumped Zyger up. So congratulations, everybody. But I was not into it. But the rest of the trailer, the full 2 minutes or whatever leading up to that point, all good.
I'm extremely excited for this movie, and I really cannot wait. I don't know what the I don't know what type of story they're going for with it. If they're going for more of this is her introduction, origin story into being introduced to the world of man, or if this is going to be she gets introduced to this a little bit, and then a big bad comes is controlling everything that's going on.
It seemed like there was that woman in the weird mask a lot. Maybe that's the enemy. I saw that fractured kind of almost Phantom of the Opera mask person.
Maybe.
I'm gonna have to watch it again. It seems but for a character that they gave no context to in the trailer, I feel like that has to be the bad guy.
Maybe. I mean, it also
for her to show up in as many shots without reason.
I mean, so the thing is, right, is that there is one major character in the Wonder Woman universe that is basically controls war. Ares, right?
So
that's why this intrigues me. If he's gonna be if
he's the big
he's the big bad, like
maybe.
controlling all that's going on, or if it's going to be like just her introduction to the world of man, just introduced to the war, and like that's what happened.
Have at it, yeah.
And so who knows? Because she was like told the world and old wars.
Also, how dare you?
With what?
Try and throw Marvel under the bus in defense of this theme song that is like garbage. And like, while Marvel is doing such amazing things on Netflix, and like we're just gonna roll right into the next topic. Netflix is like rising on the back of every piece of like content that they put out, and Marvel is up there all the time. Obviously. And they're like, we're going into the next story. They're about to pass like overall cable subscriptions, which is insane.
It is. And
but how dare you throw Marvel under the bus?
So what I'm talking about is in the cinematic universe. Sure. There's no
themes.
Notable theme songs,
you're right,
or even orchestra. Like what's the most iconic? Like the number one thing you think of when you hear music in those movies. You
mean like what music?
Yeah, do you recall any music?
I think we talked about this on like an episode or two ago. There was that every frame a painting piece on the Marvel Cinematic Universe music, and like the only one that I can think of, and the only one that anyone else in that video could think of, was like the Spider-Man one from like the old cartoon.
Well, yeah, there's that, but I'm talking like. So to give you an idea, like the only thing that I can remember from the cinematic universe is Iron Man. And I'm thinking like Iron Man 2 when he comes out to Back in Black.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's the only thing I can remember.
Yeah.
I mean, awesome scene.
Sure.
But not epic in any sort of way.
Okay.
Well, I guess it is in a way, but not
epic because it was Marvel. Yeah. Like not because Marvel did something special with music. They just licensed a good song.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. That's my feelings on it. And on top of that, DC doesn't have like new shows going into Netflix, so it's hard to compare.
Because Marvel made the right call there.
They did. They made a great call. Yeah. It also helps when you're owned
well, what do you think? Okay, what do you think about
Disney?
Right. What do you think about the news that they're passing out cable subscriptions?
It's fantastic because cable is widely overpriced.
I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit when we were talking about the problem with the CW shows in our bullshit intro.
20 minutes long. Sorry about that.
I think it was 15. I think we had like different times on this.
Maybe.
Whatever.
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, that is the problem, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that when you watch a show on Netflix, you get it from beginning to end, especially with these Marvel ones. Yeah. You get like the entire season, it's popped right in front of you, you watch it.
You don't feel like you're waiting around for filler episodes. You don't feel like you
don't get those fillers. And now, don't be wrong, 23 episode seasons can be great because it gives you a long character development. Yeah. And like especially in a show like Supernatural, which is now season 12. Jeez. You feel like you are family with these characters.
Sure.
Now let me tell you that last season, one with imaginary friends was an episode.
Okay.
It gets fucking weird because you have to put in episodes just for the hell of it. So they're like, oh, let's just do something fun. Here's imaginary friends.
Or like the Ghost Hunter. I can't remember.
Oh God, I can't remember either.
There's a Ghost. It wasn't Ghost Hunters, was it?
No, it was something stupid. You'll probably remember
like garbage Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it was definitely a ripoff.
Yeah, but it was like like those whatever those episodes were. Like you did always feel, even in a good show, even a show that we agree is pretty high quality. Yeah, you get those filler episodes, but.
The only reason why they're bearable is because the character's acting.
For me though, like I wonder how long this is sustainable. I mean, Netflix is already like 12 now a month, I think. What is it?
Yes, it's for the 4 screens.
Pay for Netflix.
I think I actually give Dave money every month for it because he has the upgraded package.
My fiance has Netflix. I have Hulu. And I source HBO from alternate parties. Anyway,
is there even a reason to have Hulu anymore, by the way? No.
I watched the first couple of seasons of Steven Universe there. It makes it easy to watch certain shows that are like still ongoing. Like I think the new episodes of like all the CW stuff is there. They have their own app now.
Yep. So they're not on Hulu anymore.
I gotta really consider Hulu. I watched The Mockingjay Part 2, the last Hunger Games movie recently. That was my latest Hulu usage.
Yeah, that's apparently bad. A bad movie.
It was fine. I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the first book, and I enjoyed the first book and the second book, and the third book was like, eh. Yeah. And actually, I saw some the leaked trailer for Idris Elba in The Dark Tower.
Mm.
And that's another, that what made me think of that is like, that's a book series that I was like, first book, oh, that's insane. Second book, oh, awesome. Third book, fourth book, oh, amazing. And then 5, 6, 7 all like just went straight off the rails, just like into the depths of Stephen King's subconscious. Like,
hold on to your ass, kids.
Yeah, basically just a stream of consciousness journey through this man's psyche. It was just it was a mess.
Anyway, back to Netflix.
Oh, but anyway, no, I saw that test footage. It looks really cool. I think that movie's going to be really good.
Wait, what? For what?
For the Dark Tower series.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay.
So now rolling all of that back to the Mockingjay Part 2. That movie was fine. It was all right. Yeah. And then rolling back even further to Netflix, I'm not at all surprised. I don't think it's hard to beat cable companies these days. Like I'm about to move into a new apartment, and my fiance called the cable company, and she was just like, just internet, please. Like, we don't.
Yeah, that I just need internet.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
and I keep thinking, like, if I ever get the urge to like watch TV stuff, maybe just get like a month or two of PlayStation Vue. Yeah. Like, it's kind of expensive, but at the same time, like.
Well, I was gonna say, so I've actually accidentally subscribed for Sling TV for an extra month.
Oh.
It sucks. Don't get Sling.
Okay. No
it's
Sling.
Buffering all the goddamn time, and it just skips like. Sometimes it'll just not play for like 15 seconds and catch up. Other times it'll rewind you 30 minutes, and then you have to catch back up.
Oh, fun!
Yeah.
You get to watch episodes over and over and over again.
Yeah, I was watching the baseball game last night on Sling, and I was like, oh, I literally went back like half an inning.
Oh, fun!
Oh, so good. You suck.
Yeah. But you guys tried out PlayStation Vue a little bit, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about that as like maybe a supplement to Netflix and HBO?
It's good. The problem is that like my main source of television, as sad as it is, comes from CW. CW is literally on no streaming apps except for their own.
Yeah.
So you have to watch them the day either the day of on live TV or the day after. So kind of sucks if you wanted to. I mean, it's not terrible, but I mean, it's all free, so you can't really complain.
Yeah.
But then like I think Fox isn't on a lot of them. I don't remember if PlayStation Vue had it. I haven't had it for a couple months now.
I think honestly, it's only a matter of time till like everyone goes independent or everyone jumps on a new model with like Netflix or Hulu or something like that. Because there's no reason, I think every single day, like they're eroding cable's business by just producing better quality content at a cheaper price for everyone to enjoy whenever and wherever they want.
Yeah.
And that's part of what makes me like the idea of PlayStation Vue is that I can watch it on my TV. I can watch it on my computer. I can watch it on my phone if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I can watch it on my Amazon Fire Stick. Like, you can get eventually like this app has ended up pretty much everywhere. So if I ever really wanted TV, it would still even be better than what you can currently do with cable for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously has its upsides, pros and cons, if you will. It's cable offers it in one big package, so everything is kind of just lumped together.
Yeah.
Because PlayStation Vue and internet separately could come out to be expensive.
Sure.
I mean, depending as to what package you get for PlayStation Vue.
Right.
But it was good when I had it. Like there was really no buffering issues or anything like that. It was just a little bit on the expensive side.
Yeah, I'm really gonna have to do some research for it. But I mean, like, Netflix continues to. I might never even need it because I don't really watch live TV anymore.
Yeah.
And the next thing we're going to talk about is that a trailer for the series, a series of unfortunate events, comma, a Netflix series. Is how I'm going to refer to it from now on.
Oh, geez, the entire thing.
Yeah, just a series of unfortunate events, comma, Netflix series. You have to say the comma.
How pretentious of you.
That trailer dropped and like it dropped like it was like super hot or something. Whatever.
Oh, it dropped.
It just dropped today. Did you see that? But no, it looked pretty cool. And Neil Patrick Harris is in it, so it's gonna be good. It's
not wrong. Bad day to drop your trailer though. The same day as Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. Swing and a miss, I guess. When did it come out? I have to look at that. But yeah, I'll check that out.
Okay.
Do you have any interest in a series of unfortunate events?
I read, I think like a book or two when I was a kid.
Right.
They were fine. I do love Neil Patrick Harris. So
same day as Wonder Woman.
Not a good look. But yeah, it's fine. I might be interested in it, but
I'm more interested in it because it's a Netflix series now than I am because of the original source material.
More often than not, when Netflix gives you money to run a show, they usually do not like give it to people that have shitty ideas. is what I've started to notice. Is like almost every show that is Netflix exclusive does have some type of, it might not be appealing to you, but it's not.
It's a mark of quality, though.
Exactly. Now. It's not a bad piece of television or media.
And actually, something I was mentioning before is like the price of Netflix. I don't think is sustainable because they just sourced like 80 million. They just, I think, borrowed $800 million to pay for new content, which like they'll make that money back, over time. But I wonder if we're going to see them producing more and thus also charging more.
I mean, it also could be like you pay this much and you have ads, and you pay this much and you don't have ads.
Oof, I would hate that, but I mean, I don't really mind ads that much. But
I mean, it might come down to that sooner or later because I mean, that's why CW stuff is all free.
Because they serve you ads every 30 seconds.
Yeah, they'll give you I think
see
6 or 7 ads.
You see Oliver shoot one arrow, and then it's like ad break, and then he shoots the next one, and ad break.
It's kind of bad because I caught up on a bunch of shows in one day, in which it seems that they had 2 sponsors, and that's it. Oh. So it was literally like Target with this fucking song.
That's always the worst, right?
Yeah, and it's over and over and
the
over. The
one redeeming quality about TV is that at least the ads are usually...
There's usually different ones. It has Donald Trump on it, and then it has Hillary Clinton.
Well, that's
and then,
a whole... Yeah.
And then it has...
it's a rough time to watch
ED drugs, and then you got Viagra, which is the same as ED drugs, but, I guess, that whole chestnut.
Yeah. Can you believe we're on 69 episodes?
69!
Anyway, let's get into some of the questions.
Let's get in.
I thought we were going to end up tackling more, like, in the middle of our conversations, but it seems like...
A lot of them were kind of stationary. There was one that was based on Westworld, but it was a little bit past the time when I noticed. Yeah. So
whatever. My favorite tweet for #Nerd69 is from 10 episodes ago, when Mike Espinoza said he wanted to tweet about this episode, and then I tweeted back at him just before we started recording. Probably didn't give enough time, but I was like, well, this is it. You said you wanted to tweet about this episode.
Ruined it. Spoiled it. Just kidding.
No, that's fine.
Thank you for supporting us.
And then along a similar vein, Patrick Searles says, I don't have any questions this week. Just wanted to say what's up. Also,
69. Yeah.
He did say that. I hope Fred gave that the proper gravitas. Jesus.
It's just a porno in here now.
For who?
For you.
Do you want to take the next one from Angel?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell a Pokefusion is, but Angel Urbina asks, what's a Pokefusion you'd like to see?
I didn't know that was. Is that one of the new things?
Well, it looks like we're misinformed.
For someone who's I've been doing a Pokemon series recently, you think I'd be more up on the. By the way, Nerds Nuzlocke, Nerds Nuzlocke. If you want to see me play Pokemon with absurd rules,
and have Dave be killed in the first.
Oh man, I hope he didn't hear that. I don't think Dave's actually watched it yet, and I keep encouraging him to at least get to the 11-minute mark. And then if you guys aren't gonna watch this series, that's fine. Can you watch the first episode and get to at least like 11 or 12 minutes in? Because like I don't know if it shows up well, but I felt really proud of it because it's like the most basic garbage editing. But like I had this sad music swell up, and I had this like memorial thing for Dave. Like,
poor Dave.
It felt good. Yeah, I was like, "Oh, Dave, you're in my game, Dave." And then like first episode,
he's like, "God damn." Well, it doesn't help that you picked a normal type that you get in the beginning of the game. You know they're always fucking useless.
No, but I didn't pick it. That I was playing by the rules of the game. In the game, you have to catch the first Pokemon that you see in each area, or you don't get a Pokemon for that area. You don't get to like be choosy. So
that kind of sucks.
I ended up with David the Patrat. So
poor Dave. He was an adorable Patrat.
Yeah.
As far as Pokefusion, is it possible to fuse Charizard and Blastoise? That'd be pretty rad.
It'd be like a dragon turtle. Have you seen a dragon turtle?
No.
They're turtles that look like dragons. Just look it up.
I mean, I never would have guessed that one.
Yeah. The next question comes from Clint Gilmore. What up, Clint? Are you guys watching Westworld? If so, what do you think? If not, what the hell is wrong with you? So what is the hell is wrong with you? What
as I said earlier, I was hoping to watch it with friends, and then all my friends abandoned me and watched it on their own.
We can watch it tonight. I will watch that entire... The thing is, I have no qualms about rewatching episodes of that show.
It's appealing. But I have to teach you things.
Yeah, I know. Maybe both. We'll see.
I don't know what time you're staying until.
But Westworld is awesome. You heard me talk about it before. I think it's one of the best shows on television currently, and I think it could easily become one of my favorite series of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in it. It's just, as I said, my friends betrayed me. It also doesn't help that I was on 2 vacations in a matter of 3 weeks. Yeah, you weren't really
around. You were gone 2 weekends in a
row. I fucked up.
Yeah.
I gone fucked up, guys.
We covered the next question from Zyger, but luckily, the next question after that also comes from Zyger. Do you want to take that one?
The one after or the one before?
What?
The one saying, when you guys started Nerds, did you ever have an idea that you'd make it to episode 69?
Yeah, that one.
Did you even think about it? I, at the beginning, was not part of Nerds.
No, you were not.
So I can't speak to that effect. I came on like episode 20-something, I think.
It must have been after Tom left.
It was after Tom left.
He came on 26
did
or
he?
Something?
Was Nerds going on that long before me?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to have to look now.
I don't remember.
There's no way I can figure that out right now. I started to look and then I was like,
nope. Yeah, so I mean, from when I started, it was obviously a little bit further in, so it was a little bit easier to say like,
we had to get you on the show. Like I
was
not
hesitant
interested
at first, and then I blossomed.
Yeah,
I now have boobs.
Yeah, to a beautiful flower.
Oh,
but yeah, no, I mean honestly, like I actually really did believe that this would be a thing that would go on for a while because I knew that the people I was starting it with were, I was starting it with, it was just me and Sean.
Yeah, and
I knew that like Sean and I would make it work. We were both passionate about wanting to make it work.
Correct.
And on side projects before, like one of us was excited about it, one of us wasn't. It was always like kind of trading back and forth. And then I think we met on Nerds.
Yeah,
like we were ready to go with Nerds.
Couch co-op was
a mess.
And
no, it's fine. That's whatever. And then, you came on the show and Sean left and like you and I shared a very similar passion about it. And like we both have goals that we want to achieve using this platform. And like, I think it is something that can continue, for the future. And like, I'm going to keep going with it to keep making it work. And like, so I don't know. I mean,
should we just talk about the elephant in the room then with that? Because considering,
oh sure. I mean, it's your thing. Like, I don't know if you want to,
well, that's, if you guys haven't known, I am now working with, the YouTube channel Ismahawk. At the beginning, I'm, as of right now, being the social manager for them, for all 3 platforms. But with it, I am also going to be moving to Las Vegas to be with them. When it starts, I'm not 100% yet. When I'll be moving is still a question, but I will continue to do this until I move. So I don't know when yet, but we will also find a replacement. We have one in mind, but we need to test him out first. So, and you guys will have the opportunity to judge him harshly.
Well, all right. The like
trial by fire, I say.
I guess this speaks to our point though. Like I really did think that we could get to this point because I do think it comes down to passion about what it is we wanted to do. And you wanted to learn and practice and get good at hosting and video editing. And like, those are things that you've achieved. And like, I'm pursuing my own goals through like this channel and, through Nerds Nuzlocke, like just trying to produce kind of goofy content that makes me happy,
Exactly.
And I guess there was never a question of how long it would last for me because I was sure that I would be able to maintain that level of passion about it. So.
I mean, it's basically, it was always the goal to do this. And then if anything came of it, either with this brand specifically to become professional or getting opportunities because of doing this, that's basically just what we're doing it for, like if this could have been something bigger than it is right now and like been up there to be at least a little bit more popular, then we probably would have stuck with it. But there are certain things that have happened where opportunities you can't exactly pass up have come up for both Sean and now I that make it so unfortunately we have to leave. But it's not that we don't care about what's going on here or passionate about it. It's just, like I said before, opportunities you can't exactly pass up now.
And you're still going to be here for the next couple months, probably, right? I mean,
presumably, I don't know 100% yet.
Sure. Okay.
So basically, what it's kind of depending more on than anything is getting a job out there.
Sure.
And then housing. So once that happens, then it's good. But and maybe
we've already had this conversation like on our own terms, I guess. But let me just at least say it publicly. Congratulations! I'm very happy for you. I know this is something that you've been wanting for a while. So
yeah. Let me first say that the guys from Ismog are the absolute fucking best. I know they're probably not watching this, but if you were curious as a listener, they are awesome people. They are as genuine as you could possibly imagine.
Cool.
And that's something I truly respect. And I believe in what they're doing. So when they told me that I was in, I literally could not pass it up, and I'm elated at the opportunity. Mm-hmm. So, but that's kind of the 2 cents on that. I mean, we're going to keep doing this until then. Maybe I'll try to like push some videos on here at certain points. Like, you should watch Megazord versus Voltron.
There you go.
Follow us on all the social media platforms. Free plug as well. All the social media platforms. Ismahawk. We're on all of them. That's pretty much it. Anyway, we should probably move on with it. Anyway. Sure. We're on the last question.
Just kind of dropped all that in there.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing it at the beginning of the episode, but I didn't want it to feel awkward for the rest. So
whatever. This was the goal for you and Sean, and for me, the goal is to continue with Knerds and make something great out of what we're doing here. And like I know that I don't intend to move to a different city. I don't intend to like go elsewhere. So this is the best possible way for me to like achieve what I want to achieve in gaming with a community, with people who are also passionate about these things.
Yeah.
So like this is my I've already made it, baby.
He's made it the entire time.
I was already doing it. You know what I mean?
So I mean, and with that said, please do not like.
Oh, if you jump ship, you're out. Yeah. I don't get the fuck out.
Jesus, I was just say, be sure to keep him here because I know Jack is going to continue to work to make sure that this all works.
Yeah.
And honestly, there could be new opportunities coming out of this, new shows, new ideas that either maybe we didn't have time for, or we didn't have time.
Yeah, maybe with a redistribution of work, we might be able to achieve something different. So.
Yeah, I mean, so keep it tuned here. You'll be able to see some stuff. You'll also still be able to see me for a short while, and then we'll see what happens after that.
Ideally, you'll show up on one of the productions in the future.
Well, cool. If I come home at some point, I would assume yes.
Oh, one of ours as well. But I mean, I was saying one of theirs possibly in the future.
Oh, one someday. Of theirs? Yeah.
That would be cool, right?
Scenes.
I mean, like, you don't have to act like...
I'm not going to be like in front of camera or anything usually, but maybe behind the scenes stuff.
Maybe you'll get a credit or something.
Yeah. Well, I actually might have a credit that I'm going to tell you about in a little bit.
There you go.
But
cool.
That's about it. Last question comes from, again...
Is this the last question?
Yeah, he says...
No, we got this one, then this one.
Yeah. That one was the one I brought up when you were making fun of the Wonder Woman theme song. Unless there's another one on there.
Since it's episode 69, which character in video games would you bang and why? Both male and female.
Oh. Okay.
Thanks,
somehow
Zyger.
Missed that. Sorry, Zyger. I completely skipped over that.
This feels like this is a dirty question.
This is a loaded, dirty...
This is a
dirty loaded question.
Dirty loaded question.
Oh, man, male?
It's times like this that I'm reminded my brother listens to this show.
Luckily, none of my family do. So, none of my family does.
Whatever.
I don't know. Who's a good-looking guy in video games? I don't know.
Nathan Drake.
Nathan Drake is a good-looking guy.
Good-looking dude.
I was thinking maybe if you're more into like a bad boy kind of vibe, like Dante.
The thing is, like,
it's hard to...
I'm not trying to, like, I don't want to be, like, stuffy about my own sexuality or anything, but, like, it'd be, like me and Drake in a room, right? And then I'd just be like, hey, do you want to just, like, go to a bar and get a beer and just talk about all your cool adventures? Like, I don't think I'd be able to go through it.
And then let me just slide into your DMs.
It would just slide. No, but, like, I don't... It's just not very realistic, because, like, if it was... And there are probably some women, too, who I'd much rather just, like, talk to about their adventures than I would, like...
Yeah, I mean, this is a hard question because, I mean, in all honesty, I'm not looking at these video game characters.
How gross are you? Hey, Fred, how gross are you? That's what this question is.
Quite, actually.
Hey, Fred, how often when you're playing a video game do you think about having sex with that person?
Oh, yeah.
How much of it? Never mind.
Oh, yeah, boy.
That said, I did just play through Tomb Raider quite a bit. And
Lara Croft is a good-looking young girl.
Yeah, and the actor that she's based off of also very attractive young woman.
Yeah. See, that's the thing is like video game characters a lot of times are based off of real women too, which is like
I think about Miranda Lawson, who's from Mass Effect, who's based off of from Chuck, the blonde Yvonne Strahovski or something like that.
I mean, like Laura Bailey is Kate in the new Gears of War game.
Yeah.
Like it's weird to say it.
A lot of options.
It's like it's weird to say like, oh yeah, I want Kate, but then like realistically, like you look at it, it's like, oh, that's just Laura Bailey.
Oh, there's a human under there.
Yeah, like you're like, oh, this is kind of messed up. Yeah. So I don't know if I feel comfortable answering this.
I'm not trying to shame you for your question. I'm just trying to explain why I'm having a hard time answering.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
and this is why I was trying to not make it about the number 69.
69.
But we got
that's
anyway.
fine, but I didn't think it was like gonna bring up wanted to have sexual partners, both male and female, from video games.
Let's move on to the next question, which is also from Zyger.
Yes,
and he wants to know, where did babies come from, and how would you explain it to a child if you had to? Zyger, you need to talk to your parents, both about your internet usage and who you talk to on the internet, and also this very question might be something to pose to them.
Let me talk to you real quick.
No, let me take this mic away from Fred before he does something horrible.
No. So
you're out, so you feel like you just tank the whole thing.
Babies come from the anus.
Okay. And the last question, that was the last question. Glad we ended on that note.
Babies, anus.
Thank you very much for watching our video here, watching this long podcast about nerds. If you're ever curious about where we source our wonderful questions from, it's Twitter, so you should follow us there. You can follow me at JackIsGaming. You can follow Fred at Fred_Sully, but not for too long. Don't follow him for too long. You can follow him for the next 2 months or so, and then you just bail.
I mean, I appreciate any followers.
And follow Nerds. I'm going to turn this back between the both of us. And you can follow Nerds online at Nerds Podcast.
Correct.
I don't know. What else do you say?
Yeah, you don't pay attention to the outros at all, do you?
No, I do. I feel like I nailed that part of it.
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
but
go watch us on. Subscribe and like and share on YouTube.
Oh my God!
Watch all of our videos there, including Nerds Nuzlocke.
So bad.
What else do people say at the end?
So bad. Okay, should I just redo this?
No, yeah, do the whole thing. I want to. This is my chance to learn.
All right. Well, thank you again for watching as Jack stumbled through the outro very harshly.
Said that.
If you would like to follow us on social media, I am Fred_Sully. This is Jack is Gaming on Twitter. You could also follow us on Instagram. You could also friend us on Facebook. I don't know.
Do any of those
things. Don't do that? Okay. Well, those are things you can do as well.
Yes, you can do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you should.
If you wanted to know about the news and updates from Nerds Online, be sure to follow at Nerds Podcast. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Maybe leave a comment down below. Also, if you do like everything we do here, be sure to hit the subscribe button down at the bottom. We greatly appreciate that. Also, if you had any written content that you wanted to have go up on our site or be brought onto our YouTube channel, be sure to submit your things to nerdsonline.com/community-entry.
You miss one thing in the outro.
Or email it to contact@nerdsonline.com.
You miss one thing in the outro, and all of a sudden you don't know what you're doing.
You also stumbled through it like a fucking oaf.
Well, I was also trying to interrupt you during your sexual harassment of our entire audience.
Anus.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching. We're gonna cut it right here.
This Dragon Ball statue is derp.
That's pretty cool. I can't believe the last couple minutes of our podcast are just you shouting anus over and over again.
Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share the video if you can. Also, make sure to follow us on Twitter. Keep nerding out.